And speaking of Melrose, great introduction there, Rich. That brings us to our latest game of the week this Friday. The Golden Wildcats, who are riding a 4-game win streak, will take on a team less than 10 minutes away in the Hamilton Wildcats.
So stepping on up on our 24th floor, not one, but two head coaches for the Golden Wildcats, two guys who are Orange Mound legends in their own right and helping change the narrative in the community around Melrose. Jarrett and Gerald Morrow, welcome to the program, guys.
Man, thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, let's get started with what everybody wants to talk about, and that's the success of the season so far. A loss to start the season, probably a lot of learning out of that loss too,
Absolutely.
But rolled out 4 straight. Let's talk first, Jared. What do you feel like has been the difference from week 1 to where you're at now?
Just learning from our mistakes, getting better with each week, getting the team closer together as one big family. We lost a lot of our leaders last year, and we're just trying to get that cohesiveness back together.
And Jared, you remember I talked to you about Jamboree, you know, when that was our first time we got a chance to look at you guys. Obviously, coming into this season, coming off of a state championship run, coming up just short, it's a target on you all's back in the community. How have you all handled that mentality, knowing that you're going to get every team's best punch?
It's a different ball game this year, and we knew that because we did make it to the state championship. So this year is more dealing with success with these kids. They have to deal with success because we have a different group. Like my brother just said, we got a different group. So that last year's group, we're used to losing around the second round, and so we overcame that obstacle. Now it's time to deal with these kids with more of a success thing. So that's what we're aiming at now this year is success with this group of kids.
What's it like being co-head coaches, brothers, spending all your time together? How often are you banging heads and how often are you agreeing on it?
You got that side wives almost.
Man, we've been, together, from the hip, from the beginning. So, we have our good days, we have our bad days, but ultimately, this is my twin brother, my best friend, so we make it work. Yeah.
Man, it's been awesome to me, man, because you're working with your best friend. Yeah. It's almost like whoever you guys' best friends are, you're working with them on a day-to-day basis. So like he said, it's a push and pull sometimes, but I correct him, he correct me, and we correct each other, and, it's for one common goal, and that's Melrose football.
Now, I must admit, I live in the Orange Mound neighborhood. I've grown to know the community during my year and some change being here. In fact, last year I used to call myself the Melrose beat reporter because I was always at you guys' games. And something that was a lasting impression on me is it's almost like a block party every Friday for a game. So when we look at this Friday in our game of the week against Hamilton, especially with it being the Southern Heritage Classic, you're talking about two teams that are like minutes away from each other. It's probably going to be one of the biggest parties this season.
Man, it's like one big, like you just said, it's like one big block party. You have the Hamiltonians that come out, and you have the, we always call ourselves, both of us are Wildcats, but we always look at them like we've never seen a blue Wildcat. So it's always like that golden Wildcat and that other Wildcat. We don't usually say their names, but of course we respect Hamilton. But it's just something to just get riled up for. It's an old school rivalry that dates back, probably going on almost 100 years, man. And we actually are going against a head coach who actually graduated from Hamilton as well, in Tank Johnson. He's doing amazing jobs over there with Hamilton as well. So, man, let the rivalry begin. We like to, hype up the fight. And let's just have a good time, man, and just see people kick back and just enjoy some good football.
Speaking of a good time, you've been doing that on the football field. I was doing some quick math, carried the 2, add the 1. You'd scored over 100 points in the last 2 games alone. That's a lot of points, and then defensively not giving up a ton. Talk a little bit about first on offense, because I know one of you specializes on the O and the other specializes more on the D. Let's talk about the defense first, what it's been like being able to hold people to the numbers that you guys are setting the standard for yourselves.
Oh, man, they really bought into what we're doing. Our defense coordinator, David Richmond, man, he gets those guys riled up every week. We're real big on trying to not let anyone score the rest of the season, and I think we have a really good chance at that. We don't want anybody to score because we know, like, defense wins championships. Running the football on offense and defense is the criteria to get to the state championship and ultimately win it.
Now, defense might win the championship, but offense sells the popcorn. Ain't that what they say? So talk about the O real quick.
On offensively, we want fireworks, man. It's Melrose, man. We old school. Like, we know the rivalry that's involved, and we know the players that's involved. But Antonio Hefner, which is Thomas Hefner's dad, he's offensive coordinator this year, so a lot of that credit goes to him for the last 2 weeks, man. But we're just doing an awesome job of just trying to keep the kids together and just score a lot of points, because that's where people come to the games for, to see high-flying offenses, of course defenses, but of course high-flying offenses.
Now, we talked about it earlier about changing the narrative in Orange Mound. We know that it is usually a negative connotation when you talk about Orange Mound. But to see what you guys are bringing to the program, seeing the community turn out, talk about just the bigger picture when it comes to these Orange Mound games, because, I mean, these Melrose games, because it seems like it's not just about what goes on the football field.
It's so much bigger than football. Me and my brother always talk about it's so much bigger than football. Actually, what brought us to Melrose was something that was outside of football. It was a shooting at Orange Mound Park.
Yep.
That was the park we were raised in, born and raised in, literally feet away from that park. So it did something to us, and I think that was God-driven. I think that was God telling us it's you guys' turn. Because we always feel like as if light is shining in different areas, and that was our time, for God to shine the light on us to shine in that neighborhood. Melrose is the vehicle we're using to try to help shape Orange Mound.
And we talked about this a little bit before we went on the air about so many people being involved in that narrative as well. The guys that you guys have coached, guys that are continuing to come back. How important is it to continue to have those names and those bodies be successful and then come back and continue to shine that light in that area?
We couldn't do it without like our coaches and just the entire, just like community of Orange Mound. Like we haven't had to give the kids any fees, anything like that. Our alumni, I don't know if you guys know, is like the best alumni in the world to us. Like they always make sure we have what we need, and they're behind us 110% each and every week. And we're excited to come back home. We haven't been played home in a month, so we're excited to play back at our home.
One of the alumni being Tony Pollard, running back for the Tennessee Titans.
Well, there's just a lot of names and a lot of history and a lot of legends that are coming from that Melrose and Orange Mound area that are continuing to come back and give back to the community. I think that's so important to point out that part of it. Now, we've talked about some of this stuff, but we do have a game this week. We do have a game.
Here we go.
And the party's going to go.
Here we go.
Right? The legends will be there, but you still got to score points and get stops. How important is it? What's the message for the team this week?
Just continue what we've been doing. We are very hard to please. So even with the game the last week, we weren't as excited as people would have thought we would be, because we are basing everything on what we should look like when to be able to get to the championship and win it. What should we be looking like? And like I said, we've been there as players, and we've been there as a coach, so we know what it looks like, and they know we have high expectations. And they just got to, make sure they're doing the right thing so we can get there.
Ruben, you kind of got me, because I thought you was going to talk about food there, but I will tell you.
We're not done yet. We'll talk about food later.
Let me actually get ahead of you, because like I was talking about, it's a block party every time you go to a Melrose football game, and it's going to be all the food trucks.
Okay.
So what I didn't learn from my time covering them, you got to get there about 2 hours early. You say the game start at 7, you got to get there about 5. Don't do 6. You're still going to be struggling to park. There was one time I had to park like 3 blocks away. I had to tell them folks on media to get through. So, you know what I'm saying? So Ruben, I'm just giving you a little heads up.
I'll be there at 4:30.
All right. He won't.
I'll be there at 4:30 because I got to be live at 5.
Oh, okay.
So just make sure there's a plate ready for me somewhere.
Absolutely, man. We got you.
Normally I would say save me a plate, but my people got me, because the Orange Mound community have taken me in as one of their principal. I met their principal at the Orange Mound Spelling Bee, Miss Tanya Elliott. Shout out their athletic director.
Absolutely.
Very nice lady. So they got me, Ruben. I don't got to worry about you. They got me. They got me.
We got you, Ruben.
You know what I'm saying? You got to handle your own business.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm handling my own business out here.
It's my community, man.
Coaches, before we get out of here, because we have to take a quick break, but before we take a break, I'd love for each of you to kind of tell people who might be watching who maybe never been to a Melrose game why they need to come this Friday and watch this game against Hamilton.
Man, you're going to see, a bunch of people, having a great time. You're going to see people on the hill outside of the game listening to old school music, blues, old school. You're going to be inside. You're going to see a lot of excitement. Hopefully we put on the show on the football field, but it's just one big party, and to have it on the heels of the Southern Heritage Classic that's just a bonus for us.
Almost look at it like a high school version of a Southern Heritage Classic. If you've ever been to a Southern Heritage Classics game, it's almost like a mini version of it, because you got a lot of black fans, especially this game, because it's deeply rooted. It goes back so far. So this game will be a lot of tradition, a lot of old school fans coming out. And regardless of what people think about the neighborhood, no violence happens at our games.
Exactly.
Even the security guard and the police officers tell us, man, they enjoy coming to our games because there's no violence there, because we have an old fan base and they pretty much protect the community.
I love it.
In the football game.
You think you're gonna have some fireworks? That's something.
Man,
that
always.
I used to love the little smoke thing y'all would do with coming
Yes,
out.
sir.
I just
Yes,
thought
sir.
that was so cool.
You guys get him a sparkler.
Orange
Get me,
would be a lot
get me a plate of food. All right, don't forget
Sparkler
this.
is crazy. Sparkler
You like
is
how I did
crazy.
it? You like how I did that, didn't you? All right.
Wow.
You can't catch me slipping. All right, let's talk about the game of the week. Put it up there. It's Hamilton High School, and Melrose going to be going at it. We'll be out there live at 5 and 6 o'clock with your sports as well as your weather, live sports, live weather. Get you all caught up on everything you need to know about the game. Plus, we'll have a complete recap coming up for you at 10 o'clock that night, as well as highlights from other games of the week as well.
Battle of the Wildcats, Ruben.
Yes, sir. Golden.
Battle
I gotta be biased on this one.
Battle
I
of
gotta
the
rock. I gotta rock with my community. See, I gotta rock with Orange on
You
this
got
one.
to
This-
put golden in front of it.
I got to, you know,
Golden.
Golden Wildcats.
All right, let's